Mrs. Wilson finally had a full meal and had a good night's sleep. Unexpectedly, the door of the room was kicked open by the angry Gina early in the morning. Before Mrs. Wilson could react, Gina rushed to the bed, slapped her face fiercely, and cursed angrily. "You dead old woman, even the censer used by me to give incense to the Buddha, you dare to steal rice. Are you still a human, mister?" Wilson was dizzy by the slap. Looking at Gina's face that was close at hand was full of anger. She was so frightened that she blurted out and pleaded, "Gina, I'm sorry, Gina. I didn't want to steal either. Your thing, but I was so hungry." Gina was furious and gritted her teeth. "It's your problem that you are hungry. What does it have to do with me? The incense burner is used by me to incense the Bodhisattva. You stole the rice in it. That would be disrespectful to the Bodhisattva. If you condemn me, you are hurting me." Lady Wilson couldn't help but choked up. "Gina, this New Year's Eve, you can't just watch my old lady starving to death in this house, right? You say, if I die in this house from hunger on New Year's Eve, how will you live here in the future? You lie in the bedroom upstairs every night thinking that I starved to death in this room downstairs. Would you feel better in your heart?" With that, Lady Wilson said in tears, "Gina, you just saved me, saved an old life. Didn't the Bodhisattva say, save a life and win the 7th level Buddha statue? This is also considered accumulation of good deeds." Although Gina's expression eased a little, she still shouted coldly, "For the sake of the Bodhisattva, I can forgive you for stealing rice, but you must save your own behavior and pay a certain price, Mrs. Wilson hurriedly asked, "Gina, what price do you want me to pay?" Gina said coldly, "You honestly wash the clothes for the 3 of us for 1 day. I will think this has never happened." When Mrs. Wilson heard this, she immediately pleaded, "Gina, I was unwell yesterday and couldn't go to the supermarket to work, so I stole your rice. Today I said everything has to go to work, otherwise for the family of 4 today's rations are missing again, then I don't care." Gina said annoyedly, "Either you will wash our clothes, or you will give me the rice that you ate, and I will not ruin you. As much as you eat, you will pay me back and give the incense burner, just fill it up, Mrs. Wilson cried, her face in mourning. "Gina, all the rice has been boiled by me, now let me give you back what? Or else, you let me go to the supermarket to work today and I get the money after work. I'll buy rice and return it to you immediately. Do you think it's okay?" "No," Gina said without relenting. "If you choose to return the rice to me, then return it now, otherwise, just get out and wash my clothes honestly." After that, Gina threatened again, "If you toast and don't eat fine wine, don't blame me for being rude to you." Seeing Gina's grim expression, Lady Wilson knew that this woman was definitely not joking with her. She is now lonely and weak, how could she be her opponent? So, Lady Wilson nodded her head in tears, choked up, and said, "Okay, I will wash. I will go to wash." On the first day of the Lunar New Year, Mrs. Wilson's family of 4 did not get in. The 3 of Gina gave a lot of dirty clothes and bed sheets to Mrs. Wilson and asked her to wash everything today. So the old lady has no time to go out and make money. And Wendy, because of the need to take care of the injured and bedridden Noah and Harold, she couldn't get out at all. No one is going to make money, so naturally there is no food to cook, so the family can only stand hungry. Since Noah and Harold kidnapped Elaine and mishandled Cynthia Wade, all 4 of the Wilson family have lost a lot of weight, and their lives have been miserable. The Charlie family next door packed up their things at noon on the first day of the Lunar New Year and drove to the hot spring villa Isaac gave to Charlie. The family planned to relax in the hot spring villa for 2 days. At the night when they arrived at the hot spring villa, Cynthia sat in the shabby rental house, looking bored at a takeaway dumpling. Since Charlie detained her in Orr's Hill, Cynthia has been relying on takeaways to survive. And the hateful thing was that Charlie didn't allow her to order takeaways by herself. All the takeaways were ordered directly by Orville's confidant, and the price of each meal basically never exceeded 30 yuan. In the past few days, Cynthia was forced to taste a lot of popular delicacies that she had never tasted in her entire life. For example, yellow braised chicken rice, such as green pepper shredded pork rice bowl, kung pao chicken rice bowl, ramen noodles, northeastern potato noodles, donkey meat fire and so on. In the eyes of the Wade family, these common delicacies, which could no longer be ordinary, were simply rubbish in the trash. Not to mention eating a meal, or even smelling it, would make her feel sick. But now, Cynthia, who had always been aloof, can only feed on this every day. Yesterday was New Year's Eve and they couldn't order takeaways, so Orville's people gave her 2 boxes of instant noodles, a bag of ham and 2 braised eggs. Cynthia had eaten this kind of garbage when she saw New Year's Eve. Naturally, she lost her reason to live, and said that if she couldn't eat dumplings on New Year's Day, she would commit suicide on the spot. Therefore, Orville's people gave her a dumpling made by themselves. The dumplings are made with pork and sauerkraut. Because the younger brother of Orville and his family are all from the Northeast, he loves this flavor of dumpling filling. But Cynthia ate all the delicacies of mountains and seas since she was a child, and Wade's dumplings had not been wrapped in pork. The most commonly eaten dumplings of Wade's family are mixed with shrimp meat from top lobster and fish meat from wild large yellow croaker. They are then chopped into meat puree by hand, and then wrapped with minced meat from shark fin and abalone. The cost of a dumpling is probably higher than the cost of ordinary people eating dumplings for a year. Cynthia had never eaten a bite of sauerkraut. For a young lady who grew up in a top family, pickled food like sauerkraut is a taboo they will never touch. Almost any food that needs to be pickled and fermented is equivalent to poison in her eyes. Therefore, she only tasted the pork and sauerkraut dumplings, and immediately spit it out, and then rinsed her mouth several times before finally getting rid of the taste of sauerkraut. Cynthia opened the door angrily and questioned Orville's younger brother. "What kind of shit dumplings did you bring? Is it the damn thing for people to eat?" When the man heard this, he immediately became angry. He spoke with a northeastern accent, and said angrily, "You stinky woman, why the hell do you talk? My mother made these dumplings, and I was kind enough to give you some. Are you fucking talking like that? Are you willing to die?"